Alright, so I know it's been a while, but I'm back. Freshy Steve is back. Today I'm gonna be reading a book for you guys. I think I'm gonna start a new series called, Reading with Freshy Steve. So the first book we have today is Africa. So we're gonna learn about Africa. Learning about Africa. Continents, Africa, Alright. Here's the back. Getting to that page. You can see it's a big series. I already read the Asia book. I just checked this out from my library. I'm trying to cover up the stuff where it has personal information. Like, the library. So Africa by Linda Aspen Baxter. It's pretty nice. Got 3 camels. They don't really have big humps. Alright, so we got the table of contents. Nobody gives a crap. We have an okapi. A bunch of people dancing. I don't know what that flag is. It South Africa? I don't know. I don't care. Alright, so introduction. Africa is a continent of amazing contrast. Vast areas of sand and gravel, lush tropical rainforests, and sweeping grasslands cover the continent. Africa is home to many types of plants. It is also home to many kinds of animals that people in other parts of the world see only in zoos. Africa's people and ways of life are as varied as the land. Some groups still live as their ancestors lived hundreds of years ago. Many other cultures live a less traditional way of life and use the newest technologies. Africa's land is very rich in resources, but many people die of starvation and disease. This land of beauty and wonder is also a land of much poverty and need. With 54 independent countries, Africa has more nations than any other continent. Algeria is the biggest country in Africa with 919,595 square miles, that many kilometers of land. At 175 square miles, Seychelles is the smallest country. With a total of more than 155 million people, the country with the highest population is Nigeria, followed by Ethiopia and Egypt. Oh yeah. We got some lady with a turban. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf of Liberia is Africa's first elected female head of state. She took office in 2006 and was re-elected in 2011. Sorry if I mispronounce any names. I'm not African, and I don't have an African accent, nor do I know any language in Africa. So probably gonna mispronounce a lot of stuff. This cell phone. It's a flip phone. City, 2 lions. Why is it okay? 4 people with sticks and weird ball thingies. Nelson Mandela was a freedom fighter. The South African government arrested him as a rebel in 1962 and kept him in jail until 1990. Later, he served as South Africa's president from 1994 to 1999. Oh, yeah. He's got some nice gray hair. Alright. Let's continue reading. Many Africans are well known for helping others. Nelson Mandela received the 1993 Nobel Peace Prize for his work to end racism and the apartheid in South Africa. In 1994, Mandela became the first democratically elected president of South Africa. 2 Liberian women, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and Laima Gabawi, shared the Nobel Peace Prize in 2011 for their hard work in support of women's rights. Somalian Waris Diri has been an international supermodel, actress, and human rights ambassador for the United Nations. Her Desert Flower Foundation helps protect the rights of female children in African countries. Traditional North African foods include falafel, flatbread with hummus, and couscous. South of the Sahara Desert, plantains are fried or cooked with porridge, and traditional African meal often includes rice or yams served with a vegetable and meat sauce. You gotta love that sauce. Alright, so Africa. there it is. Africa stretches nearly 5,000 miles from north to south and about 4,700 from east to west. It is the world's second largest continent. The equator divides Africa. Part of the continent sits in the northern hemisphere, and part sits in the southern hemisphere. Water surrounds Africa on all sides. The 80-mile wide Sinai Peninsula in Egypt connects Africa to Asia. If not for this narrow land connection, Africa would be an island. Well, I mean, it still is an island. I mean, Africa, Asia, and Europe are an island because they're surrounded by water. So hey, sorry I'm speaking weird because braces and they're annoying. I should have them off in about a year. Great. On its northern coast, the Mediterranean Sea separates Africa from Europe. The Atlantic Ocean borders Africa along the west and south coasts. The Indian Ocean borders the continent on its south and east coasts, and the Red Sea divides Africa from Asia in the northeast. You can see Atlas Mountains, Sahara Desert, Nile River, Red Sea, Mount Kilimanjaro, Madagascar, Indian Ocean, Kalahari Desert, Congo Basin, Congo River, Niger River, and the Atlantic Ocean. Alright. That's this. That's the Victoria Falls. It's located in southern Africa on the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe. 2 is this. Hunting, logging wars, and diseases have nearly wiped out the gorillas of the Congo Basin. Groups such as the Wildlife Conservation Society are working hard to protect them. And then this is the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt. It's about 450 feet tall and covers 13 acres. It took 100,000 laborers about 20 years to build using 2.3 million stone blocks. Oh man, that's a big number. How many pages are there? Oh boy. There are too many pages. Okay, so we're on page 8 and there's 27 total. Alright. The land area of Africa covers about 11.4 million square miles, or more than 1/5 of the Earth's land area. Africa is an enormous plateau with a few mountain ranges, deserts, tropical rainforests, and grasslands cover most of the continent. Very dry deserts cover about 2/5 of Africa. Some desert areas receive less than 10 inches of rain each year. In other desert regions, rain may not fall for 6 or 7 years. The Sahara Desert stretches across northern Africa from the Atlantic Ocean to the Red Sea. The Sahara is the world's largest desert. In this region, bare rock, gravel plains, and sand dunes cover an area of 3.5 million square miles. The Namib and Kalahari deserts are found in southwest Africa. Grasslands called savannas cover more than 2/5 of Africa. Thorny bushes, tall grasses, and scattered trees dot the land. Savannas stretch from the western coast just south of Sahara Desert, across eastern Africa, and back to the Atlantic coast south of the Congo Basin. Oh man. Ooh. Just so you guys have a heads up. The next book that we're going to be reading in this series of Reading with Freshy Steve is going to be a Minecraft book, The Ender Eye Prophecy by Kara J. Stevens, and illustrated by those people. That should be coming a bit later. It's a bit thicker, although it's a graphic novel. So that'll be coming later. Back to Africa. The Sahara Desert has a land area about as large as the United States. Some sand dunes in the Sahara are more than 500 feet high. Kenya's giraffes are the world's tallest mammals. They live in the savanna and stand up to 18 feet tall. Giraffes can weigh up to 2,600 pounds. Oh yeah, it's pretty hot. Many of Africa's forests are tropical rainforests. Tropical rainforests receive as much as 400 inches of rainfall each year. Rainforests once grew across much of Central Africa. Today they are found mainly in the Congo Basin, parts of West Africa, and Madagascar. rains throughout the year in the rainforest of the Congo Basin and coastal regions of Western Africa. The most mountainous region in Africa is the Great Rift Valley. It extends from Mozambique northward through Kenya and Ethiopia along the eastern coast before crossing into Asia. This long valley with many lakes and volcanoes formed centuries ago. Africa has the largest tropical area of any continent. Most of the continent lies between the Tropic of Capricorn and Tropic of Cancer. This area borders the equator. Temperatures are high, often reaching more than 80 degrees Fahrenheit throughout the year in many parts of the continent. The coolest regions of Africa are in the northwest, the highland areas of the east, and parts of the south. Temperatures in these places are between 60 degrees and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. In the Great Rift Valley, large sections of African continent are very slowly pulling away from each other. There we go. Got the Great Rift Valley and some lady with a stick looking at it. Alright, the seasons in countries south of the equator are opposite to those in countries north of the equator. In South Africa, for example, June and July are the coolest months. The Nile River is the world's longest river. It is 4,160 miles long. At 19,341 feet, Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania is the tallest mountain in Africa. Africa's largest lake is Lake Victoria. It covers 26,828 square miles. Alright, that's pretty epic. Next we have plants and animals. Africa's tropical rainforests are home to hundreds of species or types of trees. They include oil palms, fruit trees, and ebony, mahogany, and okoumi trees. Mangroves are found along Africa's tropical coast. Tall grasses, baobab trees, acacia trees. Acacia trees like they have in Minecraft. Pretty epic. And thorny bushes grow on savannas. In drier regions, some plants, such as date palms and acacias, can be found in an oasis or along a dry riverbed. Yeah! In Africa's mountainous highlands, bamboo thickets, tree ferns, and cedar trees grow on the lower slopes. Grassy meadows are found in higher areas. Mosses and lichens are found near the top. Lichens, I don't know. You can pronounce it however you want. Africa's tropical rainforests are the only place on Earth where okapis live in nature. Okapis are related to giraffes, but smaller. Monkeys, tree frogs, snakes, parrots, hornbills, and butterflies make their homes in the rainforest. Crocodiles and hippopotamuses live in tropical rivers and swamps. Herds of gazelles, giraffes, zebras, cheetahs, hyenas, and lions roam the savannas. Horned vipers and sand foxes, springboks, ostriches, and vultures live in the desert. Okay, that's pretty epic. Today, the okapi is found only in one country, the Democratic Republic of the Congo in Central Africa. Conservation groups in Kenya are attempting to preserve the black rhinoceroses everywhere in Africa. Several types of rhinos have already died out. Whoa! I mean, why'd they have to get that picture? It's so weird. Many baobab trees on Africa's grasslands have lived for more than 2,000 years. European traders and colonists introduced bananas, cassava, and corn to Africa. They also brought cocoa beans and tea. At one time, African wild dogs lived throughout Africa. They are now one of many endangered species of Africa. Other endangered species include gorillas and elephants. Epic. You know what I might do? I might split it into 2 parts. You know, because, I mean, we got a lot of pages. So, how many pages are there? Right, okay. Alright, so it starts at 2 and goes to 27. We will stop at page 13? We'll stop at page 14. No. We'll see. Natural resources. Agriculture products are very important to Africa's people. About 60% of Africans live in rural areas. They earn money by growing crops such as cassava, yams, or sorghum, millet, maize, and rice. They also earn money by raising livestock such as goats, cattle, and sheep. Africa produces most of the world's cassava, cocoa, beans, and yams. Cotton is also a major export crop grown across Africa. Although water is available in large quantities in some parts of Africa, about 1/3 of all Africans do not have access to water that is clean and safe to drink. As a result, water-related diseases are a major health problem. Parts of Africa suffer from severe drought, which makes farming very difficult. Since the 1960s, millions of Africans have died from starvation caused by drought in Ethiopia and the southern edge of the Sahara Desert. Africa has many minerals, including copper, diamonds, gold, and petroleum. Two African countries, South Africa and Ghana, rank among the world's major gold producers. Africa also has large amounts of uranium, bauxite, phosphates, iron ore, chromite, manganese, cobalt, titanium, and platinum. Some parts of Africa are rich in mineral resources, while others have limited resources. Botswana is one of the world's leading producers in diamonds. Alright. Africa has valuable forests with many kinds of broadleaf and evergreen trees. Its rivers and waterfalls are used to produce hydroelectric power. Most chocolate in North America and Europe comes from cocoa plants grown in West Africa. This region produces about 70% of the world's cocoa. Ooh, so Hershey's. Wait a minute. Cocoa. 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 Oh, what? What? I didn't do anything. What? Nigeria, Angola, Alright, let's go. Nigeria, Angola, Libya, and Algeria are Africa's leading petroleum producers. Look at this guy. He's enjoying himself. Looks like he's playing VR, but he's just like looking through diamonds or something. Nobody cares though. I mean, they do. Oh, we got 2 pages for tourism. That's pretty epic. Alright, tourism. Many African countries, including South Africa, Kenya, Botswana, Tanzania, Zambia, and Rwanda, have huge national parks, game reserves, and animal parks. Many visitors take safaris at these parks and reserves each year. Safaris are hunting expeditions or guided tours. On photo safaris, travelers take pictures of animals in their natural surroundings. Some parks and reserves feature savanna animals. Others provide an opportunity for visitors to see Africa's rainforests or desert animals. You know, they talk about rainforests, but I haven't seen a single picture of rainforests. Like, you just got that. And that's pretty barren. The Cradle of Humankind is a World Heritage Site in South Africa. At this site and others in eastern and southern Africa, visitors can see bones and other fossils that suggest the first humans lived in Africa before moving to other parts of the world. Alright, Botswana's game reserves offer close-up views of the bull African elephant. Okay, that's nice. I think bull's like the male. Dancers in traditional costumes perform at the Lezedi, I don't know, nobody cares. Lezedi Sun Culture Village in South Africa. That's what they are. It looks like those beads, you know? Let's see if it'll focus. You can see they're kind of like tiny beads. Alright, ancient Egypt was one of the first African empires and is an important part of world history. Egypt is home to the pyramids and temples that stand as a reminder of this important civilization. But more than 4,000 years ago, many of the pyramids of Egypt are located in Giza, on the west bank of the Nile River near Cairo. The largest pyramid, or the Great Pyramid, was built for the pharaoh Khufu, sometimes known as Cheops, or something like that. Sounds like Archeops from Pokemon. Tourists to Egypt can take a desert trek or sail on a cruise ship up the Nile River. Visitors can enjoy traditional African life on an overnight stay at the Lezedi African Lodge and Culture Village near Johannesburg, South Africa. This village includes the traditions of Basotho, Ndebele, Pedy, Xhosa, and Zulu peoples. Visitors to the Cape Coast Castle Museum in Ghana can see the port where many thousands of slaves were sent on ships from West Africa to the Americas. Well, that's not, I mean, it's still relevant because it's history, but it's not relevant in modern time. It's history. I mean, but slave trade still happens in Africa, so it's not completely gone. Cape Town, South Africa offers a taste of life near the ocean. Tourists can visit the waterfront and see life in a working harbor. And O's. The 2 ocean aquariums The Two Oceans Aquarium features the fish and other creatures that live in the waters off the South African coast. Oh yeah, and you got this thing. What a beauty! What an absolute beauty! It looks. I don't know. Europeans built Cape Coast Castle in the 16,000s to handle shipments of timber and gold. Later, it was used to ship slaves from Africa across the Atlantic Ocean. The gold mask of the pharaoh Tutankhamun is more than 3,300 years old. Today, this treasure of ancient Egypt can be seen at the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. At the Valley of Ancient Voices on the Eastern Cave, rock art and artifacts show how animals and people once used the valley as a shelter and place of worship. That's King Tut. I just tried to pronounce his full name. You know, I'm kind of dumb, so it didn't work out well. So we have this much left. You know, I really didn't think about this, but hey. We have this much left, that to that, and then there's questions at the end I'll ask you guys, and you can put in the comments, but we'll do that in part 2. We'll read these 2 pages, and then part 1 will be done, because we're already running on 21 minutes. Alright. Or, yeah, we'll keep on going. About half of Northern Americans live in rural areas. They raise livestock or grow crops such as such as wheat and barley. In the grasslands of eastern and southern Africa, farmers grow peanuts, corn, millet, and sorghum. In the wet tropical areas of western and central Africa, farmers grow bananas, plantains, rice, yams, and cassava. Farmers also sell crops such as coffee beans, cocoa beans, cotton, coconuts, and fruit. They have coconuts there? Dude, radical. More than half of the total value of Africa's exports comes from minerals such as petroleum, natural gas, diamonds, and gold. South Africa, Libya, Nigeria, Angola, Algeria, and Zambia are some of Africa's main mineral exporting countries. Okay, we'll stop on page 14. We'll save this one for probably later today. Africa has about 16% of the world's forest. Most of the cut wood is used for cooking fuel. The most valuable trees for the forest industry are African walnut, mahogany, eucalyptus, and okumi, or something like that. Africa's forest resources have been shrinking because of wildfires and poor management. Along the coast of Africa, fishers catch anchovies, mackerel, sardines, tuna, and other fish. Most of their catch is made into fish oil and fish meal for export to other countries. That's nice. A floating platform drills for offshore oil near Nigeria's Port Harcourt in the Niger Delta region. Yeah, it's just an oil rig. Lots of metal and bars. South Africa is the world's largest producer of platinum. It takes up to 25 tons of ore to produce an ounce of refined platinum. Holy heck. Just an ounce. Like, that's just a tiny, tiny bit. That's just a tiny, tiny bit. Neck yourself. Yeah, manufacturing is most... Yeah, whatever. That's not much. But that's big weight. Big boy. I'm losing it. Manufacturing in most African countries is still undeveloped. Large cities and towns have factories that make products such as beer, furniture, shoes, soap, and soft drinks. Well, let's think. I don't really hear of South Africans, or any Africans really, drinking beer as much. It's mostly the Irish, mainly Europeans, honestly. Germans, Europeans are kind of alcohol loving. Okay, last two sentences. South Africa is the continent's most important manufacturing center. The automobile industry in South Africa employs about 36,000 people. That's hot. Well, I don't know where it is, but somewhere in this book, it mentions something that I'm gonna try to show to you guys. So we'll get onto this population later. But yeah, each year many people die of diseases such as yellow fever, AIDS, sleeping sickness, malaria, and tuberculosis. My question is, what is sleeping sickness? That's my big question. If you guys could put in the comments, what is sleeping sickness? I'd really like to know that. I also read somewhere that some country in Africa has the highest AIDS or HIV rate in babies or something, probably being injected, what they think is safe blood, but it's actually infected blood, so, oof. But anyway, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed part 1 of Africa. New series, Reading with Freshy Steve. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button. You can like the video if you wanted. But also, stay fresh.